In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 5 alternative investments that you can make that doesn't involve the stock market, and it's coming right up. Sup guys, Christos here and welcome back for another video. On this channel I talk about making money and personal finance, so if that is something that interests you, then consider subscribing. Okay, so when it comes to talking about investing, normally the first thing that comes to mind is of course the stock market. Investing into individual funds, ETFs, index funds, the list goes on and on. But what some people do forget is that there are actually many different ways that you can actually invest your money, and what I'm going to be doing today is sharing a couple of them plus a few of my favorites. But before we get started, just so you guys know, I am no financial expert, nor do I have any qualifications. I'm simply just sharing my own opinions and personal experiences. So if you're cool with that, let's get into it. Okay, so first up on my list of alternative investments is going to be investing into precious metals. This is of course going to be things like gold, silver and platinum, and this is what I would say is the normal go-to investment when people are not interested in the stock market. It's definitely the most popular. And when it comes to talking about my own opinion in this, I personally think that investing into gold and silver are some fantastic ways to actually diversify your investment portfolio. And what people do is when the economy actually worsens, people normally tend to lean towards gold, and what this actually does, it causes it to spike because of the supply and demand, because it is classed as a safe haven for investments with a track record of over 5,000 years. And what I'm actually going to do is throw up a price chart provided by royalmint.com of the price of gold since 1969, and as you can see, the price of gold per troy ounce started at £14.64, and fast forwarding today, we are currently actually sitting at over £1,200. One thing to also mention here is that looking at around the 2008 to 2009 time, which was when we actually had our last major recession and the house market collapsed, you can actually see the price of gold absolutely roaring, which brings me some clarity to the point I made that people flock to gold and other precious metals when the economy is suffering. Okay, so next up is collectibles, and this is a market that I've been massively exposed to in the past month as I've just started investing into sports cards. However, collectibles go so much beyond just cards and stickers. The collectible coin market is absolutely huge if you know what you're buying, and then you have things such as vintage comic books, vintage toys, limited edition trainers, and then of course not forgetting the good old trusty stamp. And I actually have a really cool stat about stamps, once again if you do the correct research into what stamps to buy, etc., and that is stamps actually maintain an average price change of 250% every 10 years, making them the most valuable thing in existence for its weight and volume. But yeah, that's just a little stamp stat there for you. But before I move on, I want to just touch on my sports card investments, as I think it's something I'm really early on still, especially with soccer cards. How are these little football cards worth anything, and why are they even considered as an investment? Okay, so explaining this as basically as I can and using soccer as an example, most players' sports cards are actually not worth anything. This is because every year they get a new card and the quantity of them is absolutely massive. However, when a player has their first ever card released, this is classed as a rookie card, and of course a player can only have one rookie year. These cards are normally marked as rookie in one way or another. For example, if you take a look at this Prism set made by Panini, you will see an RC logo in the top right, which indicates this is the rookie card for that player. And if you take a look at this Don Russ set, you will see the rated rookie logo in the top left. These are the cards that have the best investment value, and it's completely proven when you take a look at some of the examples of players like Messi and Mbappe, whose rookie cards and stickers go for multiple of thousands of pounds, and of course at one point they may have only been worth a couple of quid. But yeah, I hope that kind of explains investing into sports cards from a brief point of view. In terms of the rookie cards, this is pretty much the same across baseball, basketball, American football, etc. One thing that I will do is leave a link to a video that actually talks about investing into soccer cards and sports cards a lot more in depth, and they know a lot more than me. But of course, let me know in the comments down below if you do want me to share more about my own personal collection that I'm building. So moving on to the next alternative investment, and that is going to be investing into property or real estate, as some may say. And with this investment, you get two main benefits. Number one is of course the appreciation in the property over time, but also if you don't plan to live in that that property. The second thing that you can do is rent it out to receive some passive income whilst you are holding onto it. Now, of course, going out and buying a house isn't going to be realistic for a lot of people because they cost a lot of money, but there are some ways that you can get involved in the property market without actually having to have a deposit or a big cash sum. One way you can do this is through a real estate investment trust, and basically what they are is a company that either owns, operates or finances income producing real estate that gives you the chance to invest in them and own a piece of that real estate, paying you dividends over time. And when it comes to these, there are many different types that you can actually invest in. You have residential ones, you have office based ones, and then you have commercial ones like warehouses and stuff like that. I personally don't use these as I actually own a rental property myself and I prefer to go down that route, but these still are a really good thing to look into if you don't want to allocate and commit to full ownership of a property. Now, I couldn't leave this video without mentioning this alternative investment, and it is the one that is on everyone's lips, and that is of course cryptocurrencies. We have of course seen the massive rise in Bitcoin over the past few months, which is currently sitting at $55,000 at the time of recording this video. I personally thought it would never ever get to this price, especially when I started first investing in it and the price was about $8,000 back in 2017. You also have currencies like Ethereum and XRP, which have seen some big rises over the past 3 years. Me personally, I hold a really small amount of Bitcoin. I don't know how much it is to hand, but I do know that I have 1.2 of Ethereum, which I bought back in 2017. So I've seen some nice gains with that. However, one thing that I'm not going to be doing is rushing into investing into more of cryptocurrencies right now, because I really do feel there's something I don't fully understand enough. And when I first started investing in it, it was very much I was bought into the hype around it around that 2017 kind of time. And whilst I don't regret investing my money into the currencies, it's not something that I'm going to keep putting my money in. There's definitely other places where I would rather allocate it. Okay, so moving on to the next one. And in my last video, I actually spoke about a financial mistake I made in my teens, which was spending too much money on designer clothes that wasn't really worth anything in the future. However, one market that can be great for an alternative investment is definitely luxury accessories. And I actually found this out by mistake when I bought my Rolex watch back in 2015 for £5,400. And I will fully admit, whilst I knew they held their value, I didn't know about the investment gains it could potentially make. But now when you fast forward 6 years and that same watch is now worth over £10,000, it's led to me having to store it alongside some other items in a safety deposit box at my bank because I wasn't expecting it to be worth that much, and it's something that I don't really want laying around in the house. So watches are great if you buy the right ones, and once again, research, just like with everything else, is so important. However, another luxury accessory which was brought to my attention in the past couple of years that are great alternative investments are vintage bags. Brands such as Chanel, Louis Vuitton, however you say it, Gucci, I'm sure there are other more brands, but what they have seen is their used bag market explode, with people selling their bags for way more than what they actually purchased them for. Now, whilst you won't see me walking around rocking a Chanel handbag, if that is your thing, then it's a really great opportunity to, number one, buy a luxury bag that you can actually use from time to time, but also a great opportunity on making some money from it in the long run. Okay, so that's 5 alternative investments that you can make rather than investing in the stock market. Question of the day, are you invested in any of the things that I just mentioned, or maybe are you invested in something that I haven't spoke about? Either way, I would love to hear your opinions down below, but other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.